Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor, and this is Cozy Corner. Now, before we begin, please make sure you hit that subscribe button for more content and to turn on your notifications every time I upload a video. So, today I know that this is going to be one of those difficult conversations about motherhood, what that looks like for different people, and my experience. So, I know Mother's Day is slowly approaching, and a lot of people, it means many things. I know some mothers are going to be grieving the loss of children, and some will be celebrating the children that are still here. For me, for my family, Mother's Day is a very difficult time for us. My brother passed away years ago on Mother's Day in a car accident. And that day was very difficult for me in many ways because not only did I lose my brother, but weeks before then, I also had lost a child. So you can imagine the grief that I go through every year around the time of my brother passing and the coming weeks leading up into Mother's Day. So I will first talk about the pregnancy and everything that happened with that. So it was my junior year of college and I got pregnant. And I remember sitting in the clinic because we went to a clinic and to get tested, and it came back positive. And I had taken many of those cheap pregnancy tests you get at the dollar store. They used to be like 90 something cents. And those came back positive, but I still wasn't quite sure. I was having a little bit of the symptoms, and my ex at the time was having a lot of the symptoms. And so that's what kind of led us to go and get the testing done. And I remember sitting in the chair and she said, "Oh, I have great news. You're pregnant." And I was excited, scared, all in one emotion. It was just all flood of emotion going through at one time. And I remember just having this blank look on my face. And she said, "I hope this is good news for you." And at the time it was, but then as life started to set in, I realized, okay, what this will look like for someone like me, someone that has an autoimmune disease. And so I scheduled an appointment with a high risk OBGYN. And I remember going to the back and they did an ultrasound and just seeing, wasn't quite a baby yet, but just showing me that that's where the baby was and all those things, because I was only a few weeks. And I was excited. I was so excited to see the ultrasound and to get to have that experience. And after we left, they did some blood testing and they set us in this room and I had to wait a while. So sat in this room and I will never forget, it was this small room, looked like a closet to me. And it had a round table in it and it was 3 chairs, 2 chairs that was facing like the window and then 1 chair on the opposite side. So we sat in the 2 chairs that were near the window and we sat there for a while and the doctor came in. Now, when the doctor came in, the look on her face kind of gave me a sign as to what could possibly be an outcome for me. So she sat down and she said that, and she didn't really sugarcoat anything. She just said, "I just want to be honest with you and let you know that if you decide to continue, that there is risk involved because of the state of my lupus and my kidney function and because of where the baby sits. It's more of a risk. And also my lupus was already flaring while I was pregnant. So I was already declining. And she said that if I was to continue and carry, there is a chance. So these were my options and the outcome risk. One was that if I carried, there was a possibility that I would die, either in the process of carrying the child or giving birth. The other option was that the child would die in the process of me carrying, and also after during labor, or we both will die. Those were my options. And she said, I just want you to know whatever you decide is your decision, but I do not feel confident in you continuing on this journey. And so at that time, because of what I believe, I've never been one to consider aborting a child, especially considering the fact that children don't ask to be here. And it's a gift. It's a blessing to be able to carry a child, to have a child. And at that time, I felt like that was going to be my reality. I thought that I would be able to carry and have a baby and be able to bring life into this world. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so I wasn't considering an abortion at all. And I told her, I said, okay, well, thank you. I'm going to get a second opinion and weigh my options. And so we got back and we went to his parents' house and we told his parents that I was pregnant and all of that and what the doctor said. And his mom wasn't really encouraging of me continuing with the pregnancy because of the risk. And she was really concerned with her son, and the stress it could cause us both as far as me going through on this journey. And then too, she kind of felt like with me being in school, it's so much, you have so much life to live and all this other stuff. And which I didn't care about none of that. I was excited. I was pregnant. And so, it weighed on me heavy. I prayed about it and I was going back and forth about it. And we went back to school. When we got back to school, I remember getting a phone call and because I had told his mom that I wasn't going to abort the child. I didn't feel right doing it. If that meant I was going to die giving birth, I was going to take that risk. And so I got back to school and I remember a few days went by and she called me and it was a 3-way call. It was him, his aunt, and I were on the phone, and she was just very adamant about me not continuing with the pregnancy because of the risk. And also, if you have the child and you die, then, my son is here left to take care of a child. And it was just a whole thing. And in that time, I felt like she really wasn't really listening to what I was saying and really considering the fact that this is my decision and I'm going to do what I want to do and what I feel like is best. And I know at the time she was only looking out really for the best interest of her child, number one, her son. And if something would have happened to me, I guess from her standpoint, he wouldn't be in the best of shape. And so his aunt was on the phone and she kind of stopped and she was like, hey, just stop. Can't tell her what to do. It's her body. She has to decide what she wants to do. If she wants to continue, that's her decision. We can't keep getting on her about these type of things because this is her life, and I really, really appreciated her for that. And so after I got off the phone with her, I spoke to him and I said, okay, so what do you think that we should do? And he was really like, it's whatever you want to do. I do feel like it'll be more of a risk for us to go down this journey, but if this is what you want, then hey, And so after a while of talking to people, and I hadn't told my parents, and one of the reasons why I didn't tell my parents about it is because in so many ways, I felt like if I would have told them, I would have been a failure. And I didn't want to disappoint them because I got pregnant in college. So I didn't tell them. I didn't tell them until years later that happened. And so we actually, after a lot of things started to happen to me and I started to get sicker, we went on ahead and made the decision to not continue with the pregnancy. And I remember his mom, gave us some of the money and all that because we were college students. We didn't have any money. And the doctor, and at that time, because of my health insurance, something was going on to where the doctors told us that we could get approved through health insurance, but we couldn't. And we had to do it through another practice or something like that. So we raised the money to get it done. And I remember sitting in the office and I'm just out of it. Mentally, emotionally, and physically, I'm out of it. And he looked at me, he said, you sure this is what you want to do? I said, no, I'm not. But I don't have a choice.